If you're watching this video, it's either because you love Geezer Butler or you love good old hard rock bass. But if you're like me, you love both. What we're doing here today is going over a song called Basically, which was performed by Geezer Butler on Black Sabbath's first album called Black Sabbath. And about 2 years ago, I put a video up playing it, and I had a lot of requests from people saying, hey, slow it down. Let's see what you're doing. Let me learn the pattern, maybe see how you get that sound. A lot of requests on getting the sound. And really the sound comes from hitting the bass really hard, but we'll go over that. And the first thing you got to know is the way Geezer's playing is he takes his right hand here, and instead of just playing comfortably and quietly back here, which would sound like this, right? You take your right hand, you move it up closer to the end of the neck here where the frets are, and what you do is you take your fingers and you clank it down right onto the string, onto the frets. So you're pushing the string down onto the frets, so each time you pluck, you're actually getting some of that metallic noise from the frets as well. So here's the difference. If we just pluck like this, instead of, right, hear that? Much more attack. Probably comes from when Geezer Butler was playing on stage with Tony Iommi. His volume must have been just bludgeoning. And then you got Bill Ward back there smashing his cymbals left and right all the time. I can imagine it's a way that Geezer Butler was able to cut through so he could hear himself, everybody could hear him, and just made for a much better sound overall. And that aggressive playing like that is really a big part of Black Sabbath's sound. So keep that in mind when you're playing and watching what I'm doing, is that you got to take your fingers here and really smack that down onto the fretboard. John Entwistle is another one that uses that technique, and both of these guys obviously are legends for hard rock bass. So you learn how to do that, you're going to set yourself apart. Now, as far as your left hand, everything on Basically is based on the minor pentatonic scale. For those of you not sure what that is, I'll just go through it really quick. If you do it in E, it looks like this. Of course, the main thing there is using that minor third here, E to G. Now, if you're going to see what it looks like up here, it'll be like this on a high E. That's about where we're going to be playing most of this. Just to make it a little easier, if you fret it here on the E on the 12th fret, the whole thing would be. So everything on Basically is kind of based on that, moving it around in different positions. All right, so let's start. The first part is going to go like this. I'm going to separate it into maybe 3 or 4 parts. First part goes like this. I'll play it normally first, then I'll slow it way down. Okay, so a little slower. We're going to start here on the E. Now, most of the time you think about playing an E minor scale, you think about putting your first finger there and going up like this. But what's interesting here is you're starting on the E, but you're going down to the 5th. And then doing it from there. So just another way to kind of look at the scale and play it from a different perspective than just going from the root up to the octave or back down. All right, so again, slowly it looks like this. Now the second part, a little faster, and then we'll slow it down. So a little slower. All right, so the next part, you can tell on the album it gets a little quieter here, so a little bit of dynamics going on here, but I'll play it normal volume. If you want to play it just like the album, go ahead and give it a listen. You'll see where he quiets down here a little bit. And now a little bit slower. Okay, now the last part, we'll play it up to tempo and then slow it down. All right, slow that down a little bit. All right, let's put all the parts together now. I'll play it up to tempo and then we'll slow it down. Entire thing start to finish. All right, a bit slower now. All right, and that's it basically. All the basically you can take in one day, I'm sure. Watch back. If there's something you want me to maybe put on YouTube for you, send me an email. You'll probably hear more from me on Geezer Butler and maybe Gary Thane. Who the hell's Gary Thane? Believe me, once I start playing some for you, if you've never heard of him, you'll be a fan for sure. But until then, keep playing bass, and remember, practice with a metronome or a really good drummer. Take care.